Space. Throughout history, we've always been able to look at it, but we were never able to reach it. Then just 120 years ago, we learned how to fly. This first powered aircraft flew only a few hundred feet and was almost skimming the ground the entire time. Roughly 50 years later, only 50 years, humans successfully sent the first satellite into space. And by 1961, the first men had orbited our planet. Not even a decade after the first humans reached space, we had people walking on the surface of the moon. For our country and for the world, this was a huge deal, as it should be. Families were gathered around their small black and white TVs, watching people walk on the surface of another celestial body, a feat once thought impossible. Then, in 1981, NASA launched the first space shuttle, Columbia, and kicked off a new age of space exploration. For my generation, the shuttle era was a captivating and awe-inspiring time. The spacecraft was truly one of the most magnificent and amazing feats of human engineering because not only could it carry a human crew to space, it could carry large payloads and land back on Earth like a regular airplane. Now, I was never actually able to see a shuttle launch in person, but when I was younger, I was told I'd be able to see the space shuttle coming in for re-entry over my hometown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I remember standing outside watching the shuttle as it was streaking across the sky. And already in awe at the speed it was shooting across the sky, I all of a sudden heard boom, boom. It was the space shuttle creating sonic booms as it was re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard a sonic boom before. I had not, but it's one of those feelings, the sounds that you feel more than you hear. And it's a sound that's so deep, it shakes you to your core. You feel it in your bones. And it was this sound and feeling that gave me a connection to the vastness of space that I look at every night. I'd always been able to see space, but never truly fathom what it would take to get there and back. And it was this feeling that inspired me to want to put something into space, but it also stoked this drive for me to want to help others achieve the same sense of awe and wonder. Now, the shuttle program directly led to the development of the International Space Station, or ISS, in the 1990s, and it's still operational to this day. The space station is a truly international place of collaboration and accessibility, with 19 countries sending astronauts to do research on the station over the years. And during the same time of groundbreaking space exploration, NASA's been a part of sending probes to touch the surface of the sun, to land on distant planets, and even travel outside of our solar system. As an astronomer, physicist, and now a career satellite engineer, through my life I've been asked a lot, why are we wasting money on space exploration when we could be spending that money on people here on Earth? This is a great question, right? But our investment in space exploration is directly connected to our investment of bettering humanity on Earth. There are so many technologies that have been developed and will be developed as a result of space exploration that affect us every day. Just a few of the technologies that have been developed as a result of the NASA space program include LASIK, artificial limbs, aircraft de-icing systems, advanced firefighting equipment, shock absorbers for buildings and earthquake zones, memory foam, sensors for digital cameras, solar panels, GPS error correction, advanced baby food, and so much more. Almost everyone in this room has been directly touched by the accessibility of space through one of these technologies. Think about that. We are now at a time where anyone can participate in building something that can go to space. In 2015, elementary school students at St. Thomas More Cathedral School in Arlington, Virginia, with the help of NASA engineers, built a satellite that went to space. 400 kindergarten through 8th grade students participated in the designing, construction, and testing of this small satellite. And the inspiration for this event? In 2012, students lined up outside their school to witness the flyover of the Space Shuttle Discovery as it was being retired to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. We are now at a time where anyone can participate in putting something into space. Anyone, even those students, can participate in this endeavor because there is so much more to putting a satellite into space than just engineering. I never thought it was possible, and neither did generations before me. We are now in a new era of space exploration and accessibility, what some people call Space 2.0. In my lifetime, and I'm not that old, we've seen only a few countries have accessibility to space, to now universities everywhere. It's not just limited to the large, wealthy countries anymore. In fact, there have been over 90 countries to operate satellites in space. 90. What is partly making this possible? A new type of satellite called a CubeSat, developed about 20 years ago as a university project at Cal Poly and Stanford. These CubeSats, or sometimes called small satellites, can be about the size of a loaf of bread, or they can even make satellites now that are even smaller. Seriously, they can be about this size. And we now have the technology to get these satellites to space much more easily by allowing them to hitch rides with astronauts or other larger traditional satellites. Once launched, these CubeSats can either be released by the rocket, or if they're going to the International Space Station, they get deployed by astronauts at a later date. Never before has space been so accessible. Besides just doing Earth observations, these small satellites are being used for large-scale projects and programs. This year, NASA's Artemis program is kicking off with the launch of its newest rocket, the Space Launch System, or SLS. The Artemis program is driving NASA to create new rockets and spacecraft to take the first woman and the first person of color to the moon, and small satellites will play a major role in this endeavor. On the first launch of the SLS, small satellites will be used to test the validity of having a space station or hub around the moon that can serve as a staging area for future space exploration. I think that's just awesome. And besides developing technology, these small satellites are being used for game-changing science and as a teaching tool. For instance, here at the University of Georgia, the Small Satellite Research Laboratory has already built and launched one CubeSat, SPOC, or the Spectral Ocean Color Imager. SPOC was designed with a special camera to allow it to monitor ecosystem dynamics of the Georgia coastline so we can better combat our changing coastlines. The lab at UGA is currently working on, and will hopefully launch this year, MOCHI, the Multi-View Onboard Computational Imager, which will advance image recognition and data processing in the space environment. But also, the lab right now is currently working with a nonprofit to build MemeSat. It's a great name. An interactive satellite that will allow kindergarten through high school students to upload and download their favorite memes from space, therefore reaching and inspiring students well beyond those at UGA. And there are constantly new projects, ideas, and missions coming out of the lab that are pushing the boundaries of space technologies, but all while directly involving students. What makes the lab here at UGA and small satellites so special is it's about accessibility. What I mean is that any student at UGA can participate in these missions. Besides having engineers, computer scientists, and physicists, there have been graphic designers, accountants, and linguists all working on the same mission. If people have the drive, they can contribute. Novelist James Michener, a space enthusiast and member of the NASA task force, said it best. We need people other than physicists, like me, to tell us what it's like up there. Because going to space also gives us a perspective of how important our planet is. When scientists first sent spacecraft to Venus, they were able to see how a runaway greenhouse effect could turn a possibly once habitable planet into an absolute hellscape. When astronauts go to space, they talk about how thin and fragile the Earth's atmosphere is, and it illustrates how important it is for us to protect it. No matter how different we are, we all live on this blue marble together. And a lot of people forget that. But getting to space is, and always has been, part of the journey and not just the end goal. With the advent of small satellites, anyone can participate in building something that can go to space. And the same technologies that help us improve space exploration also give us more efficient solar panels and batteries, help us create advanced computers and faster electronics. But this knowledge can also help us better understand life on our planet. From developing new technologies to helping us better understand climate science, these small satellites can tell us big things about our Earth. But this is the current generation's time to be inspired by space and to change the world. NASA is sending new men and women to the moon, and small satellites are going to play a major role in this mission. You can help drive the ideas and technologies to advance our civilization by participating in the wide array of projects and programs that utilize small spacecraft. With a little time and effort, you can track a satellite and download its data as well. At the very least, anyone, young or old, can go outside and see a spacecraft on their own. All you need is a fairly clear, dark sky, about 10 minutes, and you could see a spacecraft passing overhead. And on some nights, you can even see the space station. And when you do, remember that on that tiny dot passing overhead, there's people doing research that's going to change the world, and you can be a part of that too. So when you leave here tonight, I want you all to go out, look up, and know that you can reach the stars. Thank you.